Hello everyone and welcome to the Objectivity Factor. This is actually going to be an educational video. This won't be a debate video. I won't be looking at multiple perspectives about a topic like I usually do. This is going to be about the new gun rights that have passed in Texas, or that will go into effect in Texas come 2016. Now, whether you are a liberal or you're a conservative, you like guns, you don't like guns, whatever the case may be, please watch this video. It's an educational video. We get off topic. I'll admit we get off topic a couple of times. I tried to edit out all the hoopla and the awkward silences that we had a couple of times. But for the most part, this is solely about the new laws in Texas. If you're a gun owner, you're an activist, a CHL holder, whatever, you're going to know most of what we're talking about. If you're not a gun owner, these laws won't necessarily pertain to you, but maybe in the future you want to purchase a gun, you want to get a CHL. These are the laws that you will have to follow, that not all the time, not to say anything bad about CHL instructors or anything, but sometimes they don't cover everything, or they not necessarily intentionally mislead you, but you are misled because of misinformation or omission of information. And so we are trying to rectify that. We are trying to make it so that people know what the gun laws are in Texas today and what they will be come 2016 when licensed open carry goes into effect. So without further ado, let's find out what all these new gun laws in Texas are. Hey guys, Neo here for the Objectivity Factor. Joining me today is Mr. Terry Holcomb. He is the Executive Director for Texas Carry. Today he's going to be talking to us a little bit more about what the new gun laws, now that open carry has passed in Texas. And we're going to be talking a little bit about, not necessarily personal opinions or anything like that. We don't want to get into any kind of squabbles or anything like that, or political advice or legal advice. It's pretty much just going to be what the law is, what it's going to be, and pretty much what we can expect from here on out. So Terry, now that open carry has passed in Texas, the fight is not over by any stretch, right? This is not the end.
No, it's definitely not the end. We definitely have a long ways to go in Texas. Texas is very far behind the rest of the nation in gun rights. There's been this great myth that's been very well played, I might add, that Texas has been this great Second Amendment state, when it's actually been one of the actual worst Second Amendment states. We have states that are just northern states that are blue, actually, that vote liberal, but their gun rights are more constitutional than our own here in Texas. So a lot of work to do. This was just a step in the right direction.
So what's the next, I guess, the next logical step for Texas Carry and for the gun rights movement as a whole, now that we've gotten this one small step out of the way for licensed open carry? What's next for you guys?
Well, for Texas Carry and the gun rights movement, it's not the same thing. So we'll separate those out. The gun rights movement as a whole is going to continue moving towards, we'll use the coined term, constitutional carry. I can tell you that the next step will not be constitutional carry. It will be unlicensed open carry. That's where you'll see the gun rights movement gravitate to. You can already carry a long gun without a license in the open. It makes zero sense that you can't carry a handgun in the open without a license. So that's where the movement as a whole will be going. Texas Carry is more going to be geared toward making it to where we can protect Texas gun owners. Right now, we just do not have a venue to where we can actually fight back against these cities and municipalities that are violating state law. Currently today, the only one that can do that is the Attorney General, and they're so busy fighting the federal government, they don't have time for these, what they consider small local issues.
Right.
So next session, we're going to be working extremely hard to have a bill that allows us to have standing to take a city or municipality to court that violates state preemption. That's very, very important to us so that we can protect our citizens.
Excellent. So look at my convenient list that I've got here. So I guess the next most obvious question is, like we said before, it's licensed open carry, but does that mean that anybody can openly carry a handgun once this law goes into effect?
You're going to have a CHL. The name's actually going to change. Today it's a CHL. As of January 1, it's going to be an LTC. I like to say licensed Texas carry, but it's actually licensed to
That's
carry.
just 2 carry. I like that though. That's nice.
Yeah. So you do have to go and fill out the paperwork, DPS, do the background check, the fingerprints,
Right.
and pay the $140, which is something else we want to address next session. The $140 is almost the highest in the nation. It's a big problem. We need to address that. Our goal for next session is to have it reduced by half. So you do still have to get a license. Do not open carry a handgun unless you're on your premises or premises in your control, or in your vehicle or a vehicle in your control to and from. That's it. If you're riding in your vehicle and you don't have a license, you still have to keep it concealed under the Motor Vehicle Protection Act. So
Right.
if you're going to open carry a handgun, you're going to have a license.
Okay. And just so that everybody knows, today it is the beginning of July, and most laws I know go into effect traditionally in Texas on September 1st of the signing year. That is not the case with this bill.
That is not the case. DPS, and we tried to undo this, but DPS made the request to go into effect January 1st. We weren't able to undo that. The legislature, they got the big stick. So the legislature yielded to them, please do not open carry before January 1st of 2016. You will go to jail, and it will be a Class A misdemeanor.
Why exactly did they choose such a later date, almost half the year, to wait before this bill actually goes into effect? Why January?
Do you want their reason or the real reason?
Well, let's do both. Let's start out with their reasoning first.
Well, their reasoning is supposedly they needed time to prepare.
Right.
There's nothing for them to prepare. They do have to make a slight modification in the current course because they do want to talk about retention. So you're going to have a 15-minute section that's added into what's already a ton of fluff.
Right.
Right? So they're just.
And this is in the CHL course.
This is in the CHL course. You don't have to go. Let me say this: you do not have to go retake any classes. When you renew, you're going to renew just like you do now. This is more for new CHL or LTC licenses that get issued. So they're just going to include in the current curriculum retention discussion. So they'll talk about holsters and they'll talk about awareness and things of that nature.
Right.
That's what they asked for the time for. I developed learning as a job. I could do that in 15 minutes. So really it was just their way of just extending this out as long as they possibly could. They weren't in favor of it, and so this was just a way to drag it out even longer.
Right. That's not too surprising. So you were talking about holsters. For the record, and let's say once and for all, because I've seen a lot of discussion about it on a lot of forums, what is the law for drop holsters?
Here's the law for holsters. Okay, I'm not going to use there is no law for drop leg holsters, which I'm assuming you're talking about.
Yes.
The law specifically says, and this is important, if you are carrying partially or wholly visible, this is important, it must be in a shoulder or belt holster. Okay? A belt holster is anything that connects to the belt.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's legally what?
That is what it is. If it connects to your belt, it is a belt holster until the legislature defines it differently. I hope and pray we don't see a lot of people on January 1 running around wearing drop leg holsters.
I'm with you on that. I mean, there's...
Because, and no offense, you're going to look stupid. Okay? We're just...
So, as I know I'd asked this question to you earlier, but what is the difference between unlicensed and what is called constitutional carry?
Yeah, and there's a big misunderstanding about that. There is only 5 constitutional carry states. That's it. The rest of the states, when we talk about 31 unlicensed open carry states, you hear that number all the time.
Yeah.
5 of those are actual constitutional carry states. Vermont is a constitutional carry state.
Arizona, yep.
Alaska is a constitutional carry state. So the rest of the states, which would be, 27, are unlicensed. There is a distinction. You will not find constitutional carry in a penal code.
It's not defined at all in a penal code.
That's correct. We currently today have constitutional carry in Texas. with a long gun. You can't find anything. You can't find the word long gun in the penal code.
It's not in there at all.
It's not in there. Our Constitution covers it. We have the right to keep and bear arms. A long gun is an arm that is not regulated in Texas in any way. The only thing that's regulated outside of that is where you can have a firearm and not have a firearm. So they use the term firearm, not long gun.
Right.
So a bar would be a good example, right? Anywhere where you have the TABC blue signs, right? Firearms can't go in there, including long guns, unless you're a CHL holder. That's written into the code.
Right.
So anytime you start writing penal code, it is not constitutional carry.
Okay. Talking about long guns, the new we know that there's a 30-06 sign, or the 30.06, if you will, that is, if you post a 30-06 sign at a business, that means that you cannot enter that business, licensed or no, so even as a CHL holder carrying a firearm, I can't carry past a 30-06 sign.
That's correct.
With the 30-07 signs, which is going to pertain to open carry, if you are openly carrying a handgun, you cannot carry past a 30-07 sign.
That's correct. It has the exact same language. It has the exact same wording. We all know what's going on with Whataburger right now. So if Whataburger doesn't want us open carrying, but they don't care if we conceal carry, then they will put up a 30-07 sign. I don't expect we're going to see a 30-07 sign in Whataburger. I'm just telling you.
Honestly, I don't either. But so let's say that a company decides to put up a 30-07 sign, like let's say Whataburger decides to put up a 30-07 sign, but they don't have a posted 30-06.
You can carry concealed.
You can carry
all day
concealed.
long.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And as far as the 30-07 signs go, will that also pertain to long guns?
No. There's no regulation on long guns. There's no
At all.
signs.
There's
no
nothing.
signage that even works for long guns. The property owner needs to tell you to leave if they don't want you there. We're actually hoping to get the handgun laws in that same direction.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but 30-06 sign violation, while we're talking about that, if you went past a 30-06 sign, that was a Class A misdemeanor.
And it's not anymore.
That's
it
right.
is.
Texas Carry successful got that reduced to a Class C misdemeanor. It's a
misdemeanor.
ticketable offense with a $200 fine. That's it.
Instead of what was a Class A, a $4,000 fine or something,
Yeah,
and up to 2 years in jail.
Yeah, it was a big deal. That was a huge win that we got for gun owners across Texas.
I remember when they passed that, everybody was just kind of like
That actually was more
jaw
important.
dropped.
That was actually more important than open carry, if you think about it.
Yeah, I can understand how that's a big deal. And speaking of amendments as well, the coined Dutton-Rinaldi amendment that would have required, or would not have required, a CHL holder or anybody who is licensed openly carrying to produce IDs solely because they were open carrying. That was removed, and we all know about the fiasco that happened in the Senate and how it had to go back to the House, and that whole thing happened. And we won't get into the frustrations that were had at that. But since the amendment is no longer in the bill itself, according to the Texas State Penal Code, if a licensed open carrier is stopped by the police, are they required to ID? Without getting into legal advice as much as possible.
Well, I'm not going to get into legal advice. I'm going to tell you what the law is and what the problem is.
Okay.
Okay. Our recommendation is that you ID. If you don't ID, according to the penal code, you're probably going to get arrested.
It is an arrestable offense.
Not because they didn't ID. That's not the issue. 4602 in the penal code is what prohibits us from open carrying our handguns.
Mm-hmm.
That law never changed. That
Right.
law stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
It still says it's against the law to open carry a handgun. 46.15 says that we're exempt from 4602. The problem is that's called an affirmative defense.
Okay.
You have to prove that the law doesn't apply to you because of the way it's written. You are in violation of 4602 unless you prove you're exempt from it.
Which so now in the burden of proof, as it were, instead of being on the law officer, instead of being on the officer's side, is now on
It is.
our side.
It is on our side. The law enforcement will have reasonable suspicion under 4602 because 4602 says it's against the law.
Right.
So they will have reasonable suspicion to come up and investigate us. If we don't give them their license, they're not going to arrest us for failure to ID. They're going to arrest us for unlawful carry.
Unlawful carry of a weapon.
That's correct. Then it'll come out you have a CHL, then you'll be released, but the arrest will have been lawful. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. So I just recommend to people, if you don't want to get arrested, you might want to go ahead and show your ID. There's nothing to win there, because you can't go back and sue them for an unlawful arrest. The arrest is lawful under 4602. And until we change that, that's the way it is.
That's just going to have to be how it is. Okay.
Now, here's an important point, just to add this on. A lot of people say, well, where can you open carry? There is only one difference, and there is a difference. You can carry everywhere open that you can carry concealed today, except one place. College campuses. That was exempted. It specifically says you cannot open carry on college property. See, today you can carry concealed in parking lots.
Right.
And on sidewalks.
On sidewalks.
And outside.
Anything that's considered public area.
Yeah. Yep. You can open carry all the way through the university. You just can't go inside the building. You can't go inside of any of their buildings.
Right, because as soon as once you cross that threshold, then
you're on premises.
You're on premises, and that's where the penal code comes into play.
So do not open carry on college campuses, because you will go directly to jail. That is the only difference. So somebody's going to say, well, you can open carry in church? Yep. Unless you're given 30-7 notice otherwise, or they tell you no, absolutely. So there's going to come a question that people are going to ask. Where can we conceal carry today that's controversial? School. In school parking lots. High school, elementary school, junior high. We can conceal their carry there till the cows come home. It's not against the law. If you're a Texas CHL holder, let me be real clear about that. Can't have an Arizona license and do that. Okay? You're breaking federal law if you do it with an out-of-state CHL.
Right.
Okay. If you have a Texas CHL or an LTC is what it's going to be called in January, we got to start getting used to that.
Yeah, we got to change the lingo a little bit, yeah.
You can conceal carry in a school parking lot on the sidewalks. Now, you will be able to open carry there as well. Please don't.
Bad idea.
We just do not need that type of PR. We need to just be reasonable. You can conceal carry, which is great, right? So we're not in a gun-free zone when we're there. That's great. We just would rather not have to deal with that. And there's going to be a backlash from that. You're just not going to get around it. So just don't do it.
It's inevitable. If you do something like that, then it's going to come back and haunt you.
The fires of PD hell are going to come down on you very quickly, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what's going to happen. The news media is going to crawl all over it.
Oh, and we know how
and there is no
conservative
good PR.
the media is.
There's no good PR that's coming out of that.
No, not at all. So, well, actually, while we're on the subject of campus carry and carrying on school grounds and everything, the laws for campus carry are a little bit different than the open carry laws.
A lot.
And well, I say a little bit, but it's actually it's very complicated. So,
well, here's the complication in it. Actually, reading it's not complicating it.
Right.
How they implement it is going to be.
That's where the problem is. That's where that's just going to throw a wrench into the whole machine.
We're going to have a lot of lawsuits, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Colleges are going to, the first college that makes a dorm off limits is going to get sued. I'm just telling you, because they can't.
Yeah.
Not justifiable. They're never going to be able to justify that. And I was there for the entire debate for campus carry. And the legislative intent was made very clear.
Yes, it was.
And dorms were actually said, you are not going to
there's
restrict
no,
a dorm.
Yeah, there's
that
no
was
way.
actually said on the Senate floor.
Yep, I remember watching that.
You know, the idea is you've got some biochemical thing that's secured access, that you don't want something coming in, or an X-ray area, you know, like an MRI area or something like that you don't want coming in. There were very, very specific scenarios that it was a secure area that you didn't want people carrying guns. So you're going to see a lot of lawsuits.
Oh, yeah.
And Texas Carry is going to be looking for those opportunities for colleges that are not behaving and following the intent of the law. If you listen to the opposition on campus carry, if you really listen to them and believe what they said, you would not send your child to college. Because it's obviously full of some serious psychos, according to them.
According to them.
I mean, according to them, everybody there is mentally unstable. You know, if they make a bad grade, they're going to go off and start killing everybody. I'm not sending my child into an environment like that. But they were given the leeway to implement, to figure out what areas they want to be gun-free, but they have to justify those areas.
Right, and even then, it's up to the regents of the school still have to send this list of gun-free zones to the legislature.
Justifying them.
And the legislature has to say...
No.
No?
Nope.
That's okay.
The legislature doesn't even have the yay or nay on that.
Okay.
So this is going to be a political battle.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be an illegal battle, because you're going to see colleges getting sued because they're going to overreach. I guarantee you UT is going to overreach.
Oh, yeah.
Guarantee it.
I guarantee it.
And they're going to say dorms are off limits, and they're going to find themselves smacking a lawsuit, and they are going to lose, because the legislative intent was made crystal clear. There was no misunderstanding what they said. So it'll be an interesting 4 years, because I think this is a 4-year battle.
It will definitely be one for the record books. So for campus carry, we know that open carry will start on January 1st, 2016. For campus carry, when do those laws take place? When do they go into
For
effect?
major universities, colleges,
Right.
It's August of 2016. For whatever reason, they allow junior colleges to opt out until August of 2017.
Right.
Don't ask me why. That I was like, I would think universities need more time than junior colleges.
Yeah, it'd be the other way around. If
I
anything.
didn't quite understand, and actually junior colleges need it more. You actually need to have your concealed carriers carrying in junior colleges before your universities.
Right.
They're more rural, they're more isolated, there's less security.
There's less security.
You know, it's a whole realm of things that you need for community colleges and junior colleges. So I was a little disappointed in that and didn't understand that.
I don't think anybody really got how that worked. So I do believe that is that's everything that I can think of, unless if there's anything else that you want to...
Well, a couple other things that passed. We know knife preemption.
Knife preemption. So what is knife preemption? What does that mean?
This one is actually going to be, knife preemption has just been floating under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually going to be more controversial than open carry once the activists get a hold of it and figure it out. Seriously.
Right.
Because it completely stripped the cities and counties of making a single knife law. Stripped them. So how many courtrooms have you walked into? And they wouldn't let you take your knife in.
Every one of them.
Those days are over.
So but when I went to the Capitol, every time I came up to the Capitol for all the battles that we had to wage in the Capitol for all the gun rights bills, I had my pocket knife on me, and all I did was put it in a basket, send it through the X-ray, went through the metal detector, was cleared, came out the other side. Because I have an Arizona license, not a Texas one, I can't carry on the Capitol. That's something that hopefully I'm hoping is going to be.
Yeah, we need to try and fix that.
But I could carry my pocket knife onto the Capitol, but I could not carry inside a courtroom.
Yeah, but that's done now. They no longer have the authority to prohibit that. The state is the only one that can make knife laws. So whatever knife laws are on the books today for the state are the only, and as of September 1, that law goes into effect September 1st. As of September 1st, all local city and county knife laws are null and void.
Are null and void.
Unenforceable.
And a legal or at least an illegal knife is defined in the Texas Penal Code.
It is it's in Chapter 46 as well under weapons. I don't know if I'm going to remember them all, but don't have a double-sided blade.
Yeah,
which is a dagger.
No double-sided daggers, stilettos.
5.5 inches long.
5.5 inches long.
Can't be that. No Bowie knife. You know, I don't think no tomahawks or something like that.
Yeah, the Bowie knives, tomahawks, swords,
now you can own
machetes.
those things. You can own them.
Right. You can still have them.
You can have them in your car.
You can't carry them around with you.
You just can't carry them out in the general public.
Now, speaking of knife laws, the switchblade laws. Have you?
Yeah, last session, not 2013. I mean, not in this session, but in 2013, switchblades are legal. Just can't be the double-edged switchblade.
It's got to be a single-edged switchblade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're lawful today.
Right. And so this, just to clarify so there's no mistaking, if you have a legal knife under Texas Penal Code, Chapter 46 point whatever, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, as of September 1st, a city like San Antonio or Corpus Christi were locking
blades were illegal, that is no longer the case.
No longer the case. It's null and void.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because it was.
We expect some problems.
Well,
it's interesting how cities and counties aren't required to follow the law, but we are. We hold their feet to the fire on that. And that's going to be an interesting one because when folks want to start going into courthouses with their knives and they try and stop them, they've got no legal grounds. So watch that one. That one's going to be fun. Unlawful exclusion of a CHL holder by a governmental entity. That law passed.
What exactly does that...
Senator Donna Campbell's bill passed. So we have cities, again, San Antonio.
San Antonio.
It's very popular for this.
It's a love-hate relationship.
They're posting 30-06 signs on public property. So property that's owned by the public. Yes, they do it all the time. We've tried to get them to undo it. We've had no leverage. Now we have leverage.
You have leverage.
Now there's a civil penalty for them doing that. The first time, I think it's a $1,000 or $1,500 fine a day that they violate it once they've been notified by the Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
So it multiplies. Once you've been notified, you have so many days to get it down and fixed. After that, every day you're going to pay a fine. That's on the first offense. Second offense is $10,000.
$10,000. I remember reading about that. I just didn't remember the bill that it was.
And so if I walk up into the annex here in our county annex, and there's a 30-06 sign, number one, I can walk right past it. Number two, I can notify them myself that they're violating the law, that they need to remove it. If they don't, then I'll notify the Attorney General. He will notify them that you have this many days to remove it. And if they're not, then you're going to start paying the civil penalty. Big deal.
That is a pretty big deal.
So that doesn't include federal property. I'm always trying to add that caveat in. Okay?
Right. Now, what would include, what would federal post offices?
Federal courthouses. You know, that's another one. VA. That's federal. Okay? No bueno there. Don't carry your firearms in those places. Bad things happen.
Yeah.
Okay? It's one thing to deal with state stuff. It's a whole other thing when you start messing with the feds.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball game right there.
Whole different ball game. They can make you disappear.
And get away with it.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much everything. I don't think we're, when January 1 comes around, you don't have to go and get a new license or anything. Your CHL is just fine.
And when you renew it, you won't have to take an extra course or any of that.
No, and you'll get an LTC when you renew, however.
It'll just be a different license.
Yeah, it'll look a little different name. Instead of concealed handgun license, it'll say license to carry on it. Nothing special for anybody to do, so nobody needs to panic and say, oh, well, what do I got to do come January 1? You know, you just got to untuck your shirt. You're good to go.
Right? So just set it up.
The CHL you have is good. When it expires, you'll renew just like you would today. Nothing changes. So there's no further restrictions other than 30-07 sign in college. Don't open carry on college campuses, please. Other than that, you can carry the same exact place that you conceal today. So let's make it good. Let's show everybody the world's not going to end.
The rivers of blood will not be flowing in Texas come January 1.
No. I mean, the liberals' heads are going to explode come January 1, but yeah, no.
Well, I remember the governor signed the HB 910 right around the same time we had all that flooding around here, and part of me thinks that a lot of liberals' tears were included in that little somewhere. So
honestly, they knew. I mean, they knew this was inevitable. It's going to happen. They were tired of the activists walking around with their long guns. I mean, it was time.
Mm-hmm.
Texas was way far behind everybody else. This isn't new.
No, it's not.
44 states have open carry. I mean, this just isn't new. Louisiana's been an unlicensed open carry state for 100 years.
Vermont since its inception.
Yeah. Constitutional carry in Vermont.
Exactly.
New Mexico, another blue state.
A blue state,
unlicensed open carry.
Go figure how that works.
All 4 states that touch Texas are open carry states. And everybody thinks that the world's going to end. I mean, you heard all the police chiefs.
Yeah.
And they all got up there and, oh my gosh, I'm like, is it because our police suck so bad? Because they don't have this problem in Oklahoma. I'm just not getting it. Either we've got horrible citizens or we've got horrible law enforcement. I don't know which, but I'm just saying that, what is the deal? There's just no factual reason not to open carry a handgun.
All right. All right, well, Terry, thank you very much.
You bet.
I appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. Thank
Terry
you all very
Holcomb,
much.
the Executive Director of Texas Carry, and hopefully we'll see you guys. I know we'll see you guys come next session. It's going
I'm
to
gonna be there.
it's going to be
down
going
in a
all
flame
over
of
again.
glory.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll be there with you. I don't know about anybody else, but we'll be there and we'll back you up, and we hope to see a lot more gun rights pass in the next few sessions. And
Enjoyed it.
hopefully we'll eventually get to that unlicensed and constitutional carry. So,
We will.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Guys, I'm Neo. Take care.
Well, there you have it, folks. The new gun laws in Texas, about as simple as we can make them. I hope this was educational for you. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did. Even during the interview, as you could probably tell, there were a couple of times he caught me off guard with something that I didn't even know myself. So I'm still learning, and there's more to be learned, and I'm sure the laws are going to change even more next year and next session, and it's just going to be a big old learning experience for everybody involved. So, like I always say, the cure for ignorance is education, and hopefully I have educated a fair amount of people. As a side note, at the after I was done with the interview, Terry had questioned the quote objectivity of the interview, and I told him that if he wanted to do it again, that I'd be more than happy to try to come up with some opposing viewpoints. And he said no. He said I appreciate the offer, but I would rather debate someone that is vehemently opposed to guns. He said I will debate a liberal until the cows come home. That's verbatim. That's what he said. And so I would like to extend a formal invitation to anybody who is liberal, or if you're anti-gun, or if you just want to have a legitimate debate with someone who's knowledgeable about the pro-gun rights and gun rights in Texas. He has said that he would do a debate with you guys. So if you want to, you can contact me through the Objectivity Factor, or you can contact him through Texas Carry, and we can get that set up for you. That's not a half-assed proposal. That is something that he said that he would happily do, and to do that debate. So again, if you want to have a debate, think up some opposing questions that you might have for him, or opposing viewpoints to the pro-gun scene, and get in touch with one of us, and we'll be happy to set that up for you. But until next time, I'm Neo. Take care, guys.